In the heart of the desolate countryside, hidden among the gnarled trees and overgrown vines, stood the forsaken laboratory of Dr. Victor Kessler. The dilapidated building exuded an air of malevolence, echoing with the whispers of experiments gone awry. It was rumored that Dr. Kessler, a brilliant but deranged scientist, had delved into forbidden realms of science, seeking to unlock the secrets of lycanthropy. As the moon hung low in the black sky, casting an eerie glow upon the abandoned laboratory, a haunting howl echoed through the night. Within the crumbling walls of Kessler's forsaken haven, a group of werewolves stirred in captivity. These creatures, once human, were now twisted amalgamations of flesh and fur, the result of the mad doctor's unholy experiments. The laboratory had been sealed for years, its secrets entombed with the mad scientist. However, a recent lightning storm had struck the decaying structure, weakening the locks and chains that held the werewolves captive. A sinister energy permeated the air as the creatures, driven by a feral instinct, broke free from their confinement. As the moonlight bathed the escaped werewolves, their eyes glowed with an unnatural malevolence. These creatures, now unfettered, roamed the desolate landscape, leaving a trail of terror in their wake. Villagers spoke in hushed tones of a nightmarish pack, their howls a ghastly symphony that haunted the darkest corners of the night. News of the escaped werewolves reached the nearby town, spreading fear like wildfire. The once tranquil community found itself ensnared in a web of dread, as whispers of the creature's insatiable hunger for human flesh circulated through frightened conversations. The townsfolk began to lock themselves indoors as night fell, praying that the barricades they erected would keep the ravenous pack at bay. Amidst the chaos, a determined journalist named Emma Holloway arrived in the town. Drawn by the mysterious reports and fueled by a thirst for uncovering the truth, Emma, armed with her camera and an unyielding determination, set out to investigate the horrors that lurked in the shadows. Little did she know that her pursuit of the story would plunge her into a nightmarish journey of survival. As Emma delved deeper into the haunted town, she discovered the grim history of Dr. Victor Kessler and the gruesome experiments that had birthed the werewolves. The townsfolk, once distrustful of outsiders, now clung to Emma, hoping that she could help them unravel the mystery and put an end to the terror that had befallen their once peaceful lives. The journalist's investigation led her to the decaying laboratory, where the stench of death hung thick in the air. The remnants of Kessler's twisted experiments littered the desolate halls, creating an otherworldly tableau of horror. Emma, undeterred by the macabre surroundings, pressed on, determined to confront the source of the malevolence that had befallen the town. As she delved into the labyrinthine depths of the laboratory, Emma stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Within its confines, she discovered the remains of Kessler's notes, revealing the unholy methods he had employed to create the werewolves. The unsettling truth unveiled a sinister plan to unleash the creatures upon the world, a plan that had seemingly succeeded. Just as Emma pieced together the final fragments of the puzzle, a guttural growl echoed from the shadows. The escaped werewolves, drawn by the scent of intruders, closed in on her location. Panic set in as Emma realized that she was no longer the predator, but the prey. The labyrinthine corridors became a deadly maze as Emma navigated the treacherous halls, evading the relentless pursuit of the werewolves. The once silent laboratory now echoed with the thunderous footsteps of the creatures, their eyes glowing with an insatiable hunger. As the journalist narrowly escaped the clutches of the werewolves, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber that held a startling revelation. Dr. Kessler, it seemed, had not perished in the laboratory as believed. Instead, his obsession with lycanthropy had consumed him, transforming him into a monstrous alpha werewolf. the puppet master orchestrating the nightmare that had befallen the town. Emma now faced a choice: to confront the deranged alpha werewolf and put an end to the terror, or to flee and leave the town at the mercy of the unholy pack. The suspense hung in the air as the journalist weighed the consequences of her decision, knowing that the fates of the town and its people rested on her shoulders. Emma's breath caught in her throat as she stood at the precipice of the hidden chamber, peering into the darkness where the malevolent alpha werewolf lurked. The air crackled with an ominous energy, and the oppressive silence was shattered by the distant howls of the werewolf pack echoing through the labyrinthine corridors. Summoning her courage, Emma stepped cautiously into the chamber, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of the monstrous Dr. Kessler. The room seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly power, and the journalist could sense that the final confrontation was imminent. As her flashlight flickered, casting erratic beams of light across the damp, decaying walls, Emma's heart raced. The remnants of Kessler's experiments surrounded her, grotesque amalgamations of human and wolf, suspended in a grotesque dance between life and death. Each step echoed in the chamber, a stark reminder of the precarious balance between survival and an encroaching darkness. Suddenly, a low growl reverberated through the room, sending shivers down Emma's spine. From the shadows emerged the monstrous silhouette of the alpha werewolf, Dr. Victor Kessler, in his grotesque, lupine form. His eyes glowed with an unholy intelligence that transcended the primal instincts of the werewolves that followed him. The alpha werewolf, a towering and nightmarish creature, locked eyes with Emma. A sinister smile curled on Kessler's lupine face, revealing the remnants of his once human features twisted by the curse he had unleashed upon himself. Emma, undeterred by the horror before her, raised her camera, determined to capture the malevolent truth that lurked within the shadows. "Welcome, Emma Holloway," Kessler's voice, guttural and dripping with madness, echoed through the chamber. "You seek the truth, and now you shall become part of it." With a sudden burst of unnatural speed, the alpha werewolf lunged at Emma, his claws extended. The journalist dodged with a grace born of desperation, narrowly avoiding the lethal strike. The ensuing struggle became a dance of survival, as Emma fought to evade the relentless onslaught of the alpha werewolf. In the chaos that unfolded, the hidden chamber trembled as if awakening from its long-forgotten slumber. The walls seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, and the grotesque experiments suspended in the room twitched and convulsed as if responding to the impending confrontation. As Emma desperately searched for an escape route, she stumbled upon a series of ancient symbols etched into the floor. The symbols, long forgotten, hinted at a dark ritual that Kessler had invoked to harness the power of lycanthropy. Realization struck Emma. The only way to defeat the alpha werewolf and break the curse lay in unraveling the twisted magic that bound the creatures to the laboratory. With a newfound determination, Emma delved into the esoteric symbols, her mind racing to decipher the incantations that had summoned an unholy pack. The alpha werewolf, sensing the threat to his dominion, howled in rage, commanding the werewolves to converge upon the journalist. As the chamber became a battleground, Emma chanted the incantations with an urgency born of survival. The symbols glowed with an airy light, and a surge of mystical energy coursed through the room. The werewolves, once single-minded in their pursuit, faltered as the ancient magic disrupted their predatory instincts. In the midst of the supernatural maelstrom, Emma locked eyes with the alpha werewolf. A silent understanding passed between them, a recognition that the curse that had ensnared Kessler and his creations could only be broken through sacrifice. The journalist, armed with newfound knowledge, faced a harrowing choice: to succumb to the darkness, or to defy the curse and free the town from the grip of the werewolf pack. The room trembled as Emma prepared to confront the alpha werewolf in a final, cataclysmic showdown. The fate of the town and the cursed creatures hung in the balance, and the shadows of the forsaken laboratory whispered of a resolution that would leave an indelible mark on the fabric of the supernatural. The ritual reached its zenith, and the chamber became a cauldron of malevolent energy. The air thickened with an otherworldly presence as Emma faced the alpha werewolf, her resolve unyielding. In a moment that transcended time, she uttered the final incantation, and a blinding light engulfed the room. When the light subsided, the forsaken laboratory lay in eerie silence. The symbols on the floor had faded, and the grotesque experiments hung lifeless in their macabre tableau. The alpha werewolf, once a monstrous force, was nowhere to be seen. It seemed as though the curse had been lifted, and the town, bathed in an unnatural stillness, awaited the uncertain dawn. As Emma cautiously emerged from the now silent chamber, the desolate landscape outside held an eerie quietude. The once haunting howls of the werewolf pack had ceased, leaving only a haunting emptiness in their wake. The townsfolk, emerging from their barricaded homes, gazed at Emma with a mixture of gratitude and trepidation, unsure of the fate that had befallen the creatures that had terrorized them. Yet, as the first light of dawn cast long shadows across the landscape, an unsettling realization crept over Emma. The laboratory, once a haven for dark experiments, had become a mausoleum for the secrets that had been buried within its decaying walls. The unsettling quietude hinted at a lingering presence, a spectral echo of the horrors that had transpired. The town, freed from the immediate threat of the werewolf pack, bore the scars of its ordeal, the twisted experiments and the spectral remnants of Dr. Kessler's curse lingered in the collective memory of the community, casting a shadow that defied the arrival of daylight. As the townsfolk began to rebuild their lives, an unspoken unease settled over the once peaceful hamlet. In the stillness of the laboratory, a faint, ghostly howl echoed through the desolate corridors. The unsettling sound sent a shiver down Emma's spine, as if the curse had not been fully extinguished. That enigmatic ending left the townsfolk and the journalist to grapple with the haunting uncertainty that lingered in the air, a reminder that some nightmares, once unleashed, could never truly be laid to rest. And so, the forsaken laboratory stood as a silent sentinel, its secrets buried in the decaying ruins, waiting to be discovered by those who dared to tread into the realm of the supernatural. The town, though freed from the immediate threat, remained ensnared in the tendrils of a malevolent past, haunted by the question of whether the horrors that had unfolded were truly vanquished, or merely dormant, waiting for the opportune moment to rise again.